name is Stephen Ellis from UASDC in New York City, and during Civic Mirror, my hidden agenda was capitalist. From what I understand, in society, most people will go through the most difficult situation just to get what they need to succeed. Now, other people are naturally good at it, such as myself, because we have standards and we set goals. I had a goal to become a senator. I became a senator. I had a goal to own one business. I own 3 businesses. And later on, I bought my own house. The only reason that I felt that I rose to the top was because I gave the citizens and the people what they wanted in terms of energy and insurance. But I never really trusted them. It's a question of whether or not they trusted me. I felt that they did, because there was no one disagreed with me. No one had any arguments against me. No one tried to take me to court. So it was pretty good for me. In terms of trust, from this game I learned that trust is the most controversial thing. It can either be a positive thing or it can be the most disastrous thing in the business world. For example, a company involving 4 to 5 people decided to get together to buy a farm hex and an apartment hex, which seemed like a good idea at the beginning, but later on it was not such a good idea, because they had external problems and internal problems. External problems with the government, where the government felt that the way that they sold their food units was unacceptable, and the way that they tried to use their business to bribe people in order to get what they want, which was also unacceptable. Now, the court case that came about because of this has to be one of the most important court cases in our country. This court case they were on trial for, like I said, bribery, blackmail, fraud, etc. And I find it that it was most interesting what the jury decided. They decided to let them off of all of these charges. And I could not believe it. I thought that with everything that we had against them, that we could end what they were trying to do, what they were doing. But it still was not enough. The jury claimed that the government did not make any laws that basically stopped them from doing the things that they did. Now, even though they won the case, they still had internal problems. Internal problems involving property ownership and rights to the money. Now, from what I understand, laws that are created by the government in our country generally benefited the government more than it did the people. The government mainly made laws that protect them, protect their family, protect their territory, and then later on worried about the citizens' priorities. In an example, I made a bill involving the EI hex. The EI hex, which I own, I had decided that I wanted to make another EI hex, which required me to withhold a few energy units. Now, by me withholding a few energy units, it meant that some businesses couldn't get powered up, and some houses were not going to get powered up, which also meant death. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that was a pretty bad decision, and it's very hurtful to many citizens that were involved in this situation. But what makes me upset is that the government promised the people a utopia. A utopia, a world where everyone is happy, everyone is healthy, everyone is alive. Now, we all know a utopia is one of the worst, one of the most impossible things to create. But should the citizens have trusted the government to create something impossible? It's hard to say. I feel that people who generally are trying to get elected and who are elected generally tell citizens and their peers things that they want to hear, things that would help them get to the higher position. But the only problem with that is that they cannot accomplish it, because there are too many factors. Too many factors being too many different kinds of people. There are liberals, conservatives, environmentalists, socialists, humanitarian, and capitalists. We all want different things. We all need different things. But the government will not be able to provide for all those different kinds of needs, because the government can only provide for so many. Now, my advice, if you're playing this game, would be to figure out what does it mean to you to have nothing versus having something, being successful versus being unsuccessful versus being too greedy. If you can find that center point for all those factors, I think it's a possibility, a strong possibility, that you can win this game. I know I did.